Well, TikTok is back up and running for Americans after restoring its services in the United States.
And the move comes after the president-elect Donald Trump said that he would issue an executive order once he takes office later today, delaying a ban upheld by the Supreme Court. And users in the United States report being able to access the Chinese-owned short video services website, as well as the app. And in a statement, the company thanked Mr. Trump for providing the necessary clarity and assurance that it will face no penalties for providing TikTok to more than 170 million Americans and more than 7 million small businesses in the U.S.
Speaking at a pre-inauguration rally in Washington, President-elect Trump cheered TikTok's return. He said the extension would give time for a deal to be struck to protect America's national security, adding he would like the U.S. to have 50% ownership of the short video platform.
And as of today, TikTok is back. But I said we need to save TikTok because we're talking about a tremendous... Who in this audience goes with TikTok? Many? Yeah, very popular. And frankly, we have no choice. We have to save it. A lot of jobs. We don't want to give our business to China. We don't want to give our business to other people.
And TikTok stopped working for millions of Americans late Saturday, just before a law shutting it down took effect on Sunday. U.S. officials have long warned that under Chinese owner ByteDance, the data of TikTok users in America risked being misused.
Trump's move to give TikTok a reprieve marks a reversal in stance. Back in 2020, he aimed to ban the app over concerns it was sharing the personal data of Americans with the Chinese government. But his tone shifted significantly after he credited TikTok with helping him win over young voters in last year's election, saying he now had a warm spot in his heart for the app. Joining us for more is Anupam Chander, professor of law and technology at Georgetown Law. Professor, thanks very much for your time today. So TikTok went dark in America for a few hours. Now it's partially back online because of providers such as Oracle turning servers back on. Not available, though, on the App Store and Google Play because those companies say they don't want to break the law. First off, what do you make of the short-lived outage? And will Oracle face any fines, legal consequences for defying that ban?
Well, it's a great question. I think we're all going to see what happens to Oracle, what happens to TikTok in the months to come. The president, the incoming president, the person who will be president tomorrow at noon in the United States, has told Oracle and other companies in the United States that they're safe, that the Department of Justice will not go after them. Congress members have said, well, maybe other people might go after them, even if the Department of Justice doesn't go after them. And so there is some risk. And so the president is going to issue an order tomorrow, kind of continuing the app's operation at least for 90 days. And he does have statutory authorization, to some extent at least, in the law itself, to keep TikTok alive for 3 more months. But it's not clear then what happens.
All right. Well, tomorrow, Professor, the biggest names in U.S. tech will be at Trump's inauguration. Could that help him solve the TikTok problem perhaps a little quicker? And as for Joe Biden's warning of a tech oligarchy under Trump, are we seeing early signs of it here?
Well, I think you're seeing the very big tech platforms all concerned about their future in the United States in different ways. There are antitrust lawsuits against all the big American tech giants. And there are, of course, the life or death question that TikTok faces. So Shou Chew, the Singaporean who is the head of TikTok, is going to be sitting next to or near the president on the dais tomorrow during the inauguration. And so we know that and Mark Zuckerberg is going to be there, Jeff Bezos is going to be there, Elon Musk, of course, is going to be there. So we're seeing a kind of coalescing of very big American tech companies showing up to celebrate the inauguration of the new president.
Professor, it's hard to believe that in 2020 it was Mr. Trump who tried to ban TikTok during his first term as president. Why is he so invested in saving it this time? And, his proposal for a 50% U.S. ownership, is that feasible in your mind?
So I think it is exactly what you yourself reported just a few minutes ago, which is that I think he finds that he has a warm spot in his heart because he thinks that TikTok helped him win over young people in the United States. And so he wants to continue that winning hand, the winning electoral hand that TikTok helped him with. And now the question is, well, can he find some solution that satisfies Congress and keeps it alive in the United States? And the 50% solution is a kind of a better deal than what the law is offering ByteDance, because under the law, ByteDance just has to go away. ByteDance isn't allowed to have any relations with a TikTok app in the United States under the law. And so what he's saying is, well, maybe you can have half of the app in the United States. And so maybe ByteDance says, that's actually a much better deal. And, maybe we can live with that or something along those lines.
What do you make of the politics of all of this, Professor? How do you think the Democrats handled this TikTok issue? It sort of seemed like they set up Mr. Trump to emerge the hero in all of this.
Yeah, I'm baffled by the Biden administration's approach here because they helped write the law in the first place. They defended the law vociferously in the courts. When TikTok asked for an extension and a delay, they insisted that there be no delay. The law go into operation yesterday or early this morning in the United States, but then at the last minute they said, well, we don't necessarily mean for it to go into effect on the last day. And they realized that they had put themselves into this pickle where Biden would have the app go down and Trump would have the app come up. And Trump would become the savior for an app that's beloved by some 170 million Americans that use it every day.
Professor, this TikTok impasse that's happening in the United States, the rebranding of Twitter back in 2023, and other sweeping changes to major apps, what do these tell us about the evolution and the progression of social media platforms and how creators and users should rise above changes?
So it's very hard being a creator or a user of one of these apps when you have these monumental changes. The Twitter change, at least one can say, was a business change, not driven by the government. This change, if we do see a change, has been driven by the government. And so it's the U.S. government in this case throwing a monkey wrench into the lives of creators and users. And the question is whether or not that's the best way to deal with any security risks raised by TikTok. By the way, Congress said that it was worried about both propaganda and espionage. The Supreme Court has now focused the attention on espionage because the propaganda argument really falls into, seems to violate the First Amendment rights of American speakers. And so that's something the court avoided by saying, well, it was constitutional because of the espionage concern. So there are two major concerns that the U.S. government has had with the app, and let's see if President Trump can find assurances to keep the app in the United States and protect against those concerns.
Very cool that you reminded us of that last point. Thank you so much, Anupam Chander, who is a professor of law and technology at Georgetown Law.